Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio. Mike Salmon alongside Stephen Julian. We're not really sure because reality and virtual reality are kind of meshing today. We're not sure what's real, what's not real, but I think it's Mike and Stephen. I think we're here.
I believe we are in reality.
Okay.
But
we're not sure.
Virtual, so we're virtually sure that this is reality.
We think we're in the Subaru of Gwinnett studio.
We know we're in the Sonesta Atlanta Gwinnett Place Hotel.
But do we?
Maybe.
Right.
Okay.
See, the lines are blurred.
Man, wow.
And the reason we're confused is because Macrae Cain is here. He's the CEO and founder of the Digital Media House, and we were doing some virtual reality before the show.
Enhanced reality, augmented reality, virtual reality.
And we're going to talk all about that.
All realities.
And then after that, we're going to talk with Mark Johnson about Dump Daddy.
I love it.
Dump Daddy Dumpster Rentals,
where all old reality and old technology goes to die and be recycled.
That's bad.
Hopefully recycled.
There you go. So Mark, you could take a little bit of a rest right now. We're going to talk to Macrae for a few minutes here, all about the Digital Media House. Macrae, good morning.
Good morning.
What is the Digital Media House? What does your company do? We'll start with that.
So the Digital Media House does pretty much anything digital. That would include branding, creative side, so digital marketing, video production, and what I'm mostly excited about is extended reality services.
So you have to define extended reality services.
Okay, so extended reality is an umbrella term for a few different type of realities. Virtual reality, augmentative, and mixed reality. I won't get into augmentative mix that much, but virtual reality is what I want to talk about today.
So, when business leaders are listening and they hear branding, graphic design, web development, they're like, okay, I've heard of that. Then you start talking about virtual reality. They might think, well, I'm not a client for that. I don't need that for my business. Talk about who your ideal clients are, and especially those business owners who are listening, who their first reaction is, I can't afford to do that.
Great question. So we still do traditional digital work. So anybody who has any needs, even promotional products, just branding, trade show booth designs, all that we still do. But what we're seeing is in the future, coming very quickly in the next few years, is an application in marketing and commercial applications for virtual reality or extended reality services. So virtual reality, right now, one of the best applications for it is in the architectural and construction industry. One great example is before you start building a building, we can take your 3D models of your CAD drawings and we can do a fully immersive, to-scale 3D virtual reality walkthrough of the building before you start building it. What that allows is architects to catch errors. It allows your client to make decisions before you build something. You have to change it down the line and spend more money. And it allows your contractors to come in and say, hey, I can't build the wall that way, or I can't build the roof that way. We got to change it. So it does save a lot of error and emissions in projects. It also works in commercial applications for trade show booths. You can do small experiences or large experiences to get people to come to your booth. For example, if we were to be at an expo today as Business RadioX, we could have a virtual reality studio there mapped exactly as here physically, and you could be interviewing somebody at that location remotely, or you could be somewhere else and interviewing a person at that location as well. That's the idea. For augmentative, you can do sales pitches. So you can use a device like a phone or a tablet and have some sort of trigger, such as a business card or a portfolio book, and models can come off of it. They can walk around and explain things to you, and it'll do a sales pitch for you. That can be done at an expo or an intimate personal sales pitch.
You know, we talk about agencies like yours, and you do all the stuff that a typical marketing agency would do. You do branding and graphic design, video production, web development, things like that. But this is the exciting stuff. This is the future, if you will. Talk about the cost a little bit, because I know some folks will say, okay, as Stephen said, well, I'm not a client for that because I probably can't afford it, but you might be surprised.
Yeah, great question. So we work around budgets. But depending on the amount of work we put into it, and depending on the circumstances of we call it the experience, we could be a couple grand or it could be a couple $100,000. You know, how engaging are we making it? Is it an experience where you're heavy lifting equipment such as an excavator, and you're filling dump trucks and racing another person who's on the other side of you? The first person who fills up dump trucks, wins a prize, and you have a leaderboard and a database storing all that scoring. That's a way more expensive experience than just taking a 3D model, dropping it in, and you walking around a flat textured walls and flat lighting. That's a lot cheaper. So it really depends on the application. And the best thing for us is what is the budget you're working for and what are you trying to accomplish, and either we can fit that or we can do a phase scope approach. It all just depends. But I do that with any of my services.
And you can get really intensive because, Stephen, before the show, you were throwing paper airplanes.
Yeah, so
you can actually pick up things and move things around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you mind me describing my experience?
Please do.
Because you're in it every day,
Please
and this
do.
was my first experience. So it's completely immersive, where you have something over your head, but you can turn 360. That it also has a little bit of protection because it's encouraging you to move around in certain scenarios. But if you move too far, kind of out of the boundaries, then cameras on the outside of the headset will kind of pop up to just kind of show you, hey, watch out, you're about to walk into a wall.
Right.
But when you're in the experience and you're walking around within the range, I had something on both my hands, the ability to make a fist, the ability to pick up with index and thumb, the ability to, of course, pull triggers, the ability to pick up paper airplanes, pick up blocks, pick up a gun and fire it. I mean, it was a laser gun, of course, but I mean, it was really cool, and very, very immersive, and front and back and up and down. I mean, it was very interesting. And so I'm gonna, after my description, Macrae, I want to kind of ask the question. It's also part of your job is to kind of almost convince business owners of the many different ways they can use this.
That's right.
So a lot of this is education. What are you finding is the best ways for you to educate kind of the business public about all the different applications they can be using this for?
Great question, and it is the great challenge we have right now because everybody says, oh, virtual reality, what do I need that for? It's video games, and nobody wants to use that, whatever. And to a degree, they're right because the technology is so new. It's not fully commercialized yet, but it will be soon. If you think about 6 years ago for the web development world, or even 8 years ago, people would say, do you want a mobile responsive website when you build your website? That was an option back then. Now it's not. If you don't have it, you get docked by Google in other ways. And plus, it's just poor user experience because of the amount of mobile devices out there. Well, I think 3 to 5 years from now, I truly believe that they'll be asking you, is your website VR compatible? Firefox, which is Mozilla, Firefox has released a Firefox Reality app that you can use in these headsets now, that will take you into a website with a screen, but you can click on Engage VR, and using technology called Web VR, you can build out a full 3D immersive experience like you guys experienced for anything you want to build out.
And your belief is that the headsets we had on the Oculus, I guess is the term everybody kind of knows, that's going to be about as standard as having a gaming system in your house.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's on the way.
Absolutely.
And so if I want to be on the cutting edge as a business owner, I can make my website be wonderful, but then I can also prepare it for this next phase of VR and have it even now.
That's right.
For people who have those devices. What's the penetration right now in the general public of having some kind of device that would be able to look at a VR website? Is it very small? Is it growing huge but still kind of small? Talk to me about that.
It's just getting started. Okay. So this technology that you guys experience today is the Oculus, but it's particularly the Oculus Quest.
Okay.
And old technology, you had to have a separate computer, you had to have a cable or a wireless battery system to connect to the computer. You had to have tracking towers to move around and kind of see where you're at. So you can only go so far with that. This technology has the device, or the computer built into the device. It's an Android operating system. It does geospatial recognition, so you don't have to have towers. It's fully immersive, and you can do an unlimited distance. As a developer, we can turn off that Guardian wall you guys saw, and you can walk as limited distance as you want. So Facebook is driving this, and that's why I believe so much it's going to work. Facebook bought this technology in 2014 for $2.5 billion. They're not playing around. They're going to make this happen. They already have virtual reality chat rooms that you connect your profile to, and you can engage with people on social chat rooms, right? So they're pushing this. Now, over Christmas, it was almost impossible to get these headsets from them because they were sold out so fast, so long. It is getting bigger. Now, it is new, like all new technology. There's early adopters, and there's the so on and so forth. Right now, we're hitting that consumer phase. The most expensive hard drive size for this headset's $500. It's no different than buying a PlayStation, for hardcore
Very,
gamers.
very reasonable cost for what you're getting.
If you get in this thing and you see how immersive it is, it's not like the Gear VR or a phone Google Cardboard. It's not even near
What about
that.
the old-fashioned PlayStation 3D or the old PlayStation that you played the tennis on and stuff? Anyway, so.
Yeah, no, it's as you guys can attest, it's far more immersive than that.
You felt like you were real. You were immersed in it, like you say. And you gave it a great example earlier. If you're a contractor, engineer, and you want to see the building before you build it and walk through the building and catch mistakes, I can see like a realtor. You go, you go on the site, and it's a virtual site, and you're able to actually walk through a house that's on the market. So I can see this expanding into different areas.
So the website is the one scenario. I think the other scenario is if you have people coming to your location, whether it's an office or you talked about an expo booth, kind of making your expo, it greatly enhancing the traffic at an expo booth, or greatly enhancing the experience of someone in your office to do something virtually. This is the next wave of having a meeting. We'll put it on FaceTime. Or a web chat. No, this is let's literally chat virtually in the same room.
Businesses will also change. You have virtual conferences, business rooms as well. So, you were asking me before, one of the challenges really it's all about creative application. And because it's so new, the ideas haven't started yet, right? Like the internet, when it came out, what do you use the internet for? Oh, good Lord, look at you.
The first thing I ever used the internet for was to find the script of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I thought it was amazing that I could find this online circa 1995.
And now your whole life is online.
Right, exactly.
So it's the same idea. Any kind of new technology. Well, how do you use it? Well, time will tell us. But, one thing that I do to help overcome that hurdle is I sit down and consult with a client and say, well, let's come up with some ideas. How can a restaurant use a VR application at an expo? Well, easy. You can go to your trade booth, right? So if I'm a patron, I go to your booth, I put on the headset, I play a quick 2-3 minute game. I might be competing against somebody else in the game with me, or a computer version of somebody else in the game with me. And maybe I'm in a kitchen and tickets come out of the system. It says, make a hamburger, make a this, right? So I got these little quick and easy things to put together, and I got to put it on the counter and hit the bell, and whoever can do it the fastest, or however many I can do before the time runs out, then I get a prize or half off the restaurant, or buy one get one free. You start promoting that. Well, what's great about it is you can also capture your audience data that way. So I got to fill out a consent form, and I got to put my email and my phone number and all that. So now you have my data, right? Also, because you can stream this, it could be on a TV at the booth. So patrons who are walking around can be gathering as a captive audience and watching this individual play this experience. It's a restaurant, but that's how it can work, and it can work for any industry.
I think the ideas are limitless.
That's right.
I'm sure other companies are getting into this. Obviously, there's a lot of, I assume, growing competition out there. So how do you place yourself so you're maybe a little bit different from all those competitors out there, and what could become a very crowded marketplace?
Great question. So right now there's not a whole lot of competitors in the commercial side. Most of them, it's like the film industry. Everybody goes into film to make movies, not TV commercials. Some people go out to make TV commercials. That's where a lot of the money is, because the big money's in movies, right? Gaming's the same way. Big money's in gaming. In fact, gaming grosses more than the movie industry right now, and is rapidly getting faster. But everybody wants to go into making video games, but not a whole lot of people want to sit back and say, how can I apply this to a business or a commercial application? That's where I am separating myself with this technology.
And I think it also sounds like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like one of the best things a business owner listening can think about is kind of the sky's the limit. You're almost willing to hear from their ideas. Hey, what are you looking for? What do you want to accomplish? I mean, I know every business owner says, I want to increase sales, I want to increase engagement, I want to, all that. So they know more about their business than you do. You know more about how to make it enhanced reality, virtual reality. So start a conversation and see where it leads, right?
Absolutely. It's very collaborative. Very collaborative. Now, to put out there, anybody who wants to compete with me, I do white label. So we are either a transparent or a white label partnership. We work with a lot of agencies right now that white label us. Some of them transparent. It just depends. So we call ourselves a digital media house intentionally because it's kind of a generic Acme type name. So we're a digital media house. So it's kind of, work with us. We want to collaborate.
Yeah, the other agencies can come up with their own ideas and white label. They don't need to go put the investment into the technology. You can help with
That's right. For any of my services, I work with other people very well.
For someone that would like to find out more about this and kind of experience it a little bit, is there a way they can experience it, or they should
have been at the studio today to do what we did?
That's right.
Just get with you, and maybe there's a way they can experience it and just have that collaboration at first?
Absolutely. I'm very personable. We'll come down, talk to you.
And talk about somebody. Is there a cost for that meeting?
No, not at all.
Okay. For those that would like to look into this a little bit more and find out more, how can they find out more? Not just about digital media house, but about virtual reality and so forth. I guess they could just look it up and do some research.
Yeah, if you do some research, make sure you look into the Oculus Quest, because that's
spell that, Oculus.
OCULUS.
Yep.
Man,
Okay.
you put me on the spot there. What if
I know.
What if I got that
the
wrong?
Look on your face right there. I was thinking
sweating.
one C or two C's.
The spelling bee over
The
here.
RadioX spelling bee has started.
Yeah.
And,
So
okay, and your website, for those that would like, is there some stuff on your website too that they could check out?
yes, they can check out my website and see the services. But a lot of our portfolio, because a lot is white labeled and I'm under NDAs, I don't put a lot up there. But you can call me and talk to me, and we can get some ideas and show you some things on our end.
Explain the concept of white label for those that are not familiar.
So white labeling is you call me, we would contract a project together, and you would put your brand on it and tell your client that it's yours. Or you can pull me in as a subcontractor and say, hey, this is our partner, and it goes through you either way. But white labeling is the easiest way to do it. We just put your company logo on it. You just claim it as your business's. No big deal.
Mike, this might be the greatest tease in the history of our program. We've asked these, we've tacked on all these extra questions and all these different ways people need to contact you. Give the phone number.
Okay.
Everybody's dying for it.
So that's the second spot, right? So if I can remember it, no, I'm just kidding. 770-835-5960.
And it's the digitalmediahouse.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, Macrae Cain, the CEO and founder, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for the virtual experience this morning. That was awesome. It really was cool.
It was fantastic.
And to see Steve, because I've done it once before, but to see Steven's reaction, because you've never done
great. Mouth agape, and just figuring out what was going on. That was virtual reality, and it was very real.
And I got some video of it, by the way.
Fantastic.
I'll send it to you.
And I can tell you something you don't know until you experience it.
Exactly. I totally agree with that statement. Mike, that interview was very loquacious. Please spell loquacious before I give our...
GOOD.
Very good. All right. I want to remind everybody that Gwinnett Business Radio does take place in the Subaru of Gwinnett studios. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Get big savings and enjoy their hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com. Join their family today. Come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then look for Subaru of Gwinnett's Facebook page and Instagram posts and LinkedIn and all the other social media sites for the latest Subaru offers, news, and community events.